This high-stakes battle features two of Uganda's biggest talent, the highly decorated Nyola of Kireka Panthers Chess Club, the reigning Premier Bet Chess League MVP, and the rising star Mwase Mathew of Mulago Kings Chess Club, the national junior champion. Nyola is a fresh-off major winner in East Africa, including a perfect 6 out of 6 in the 2025 Eldoret Open tournament and the MVP honors in Uganda's top league. His opponent, Mwase Mathew, has proven his dominance in the junior ranks, notably winning the National Juniors Open Chess Championship 2024 with the record equaling perfect 8 out of 8. This game, which opened with a sharp Sicilian defense, Alapin variation, is a tactical masterclass, quickly turning into an all-out war with a dramatic, peace-sacrificing finish. Welcome to the center of African chess. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And in the white pieces, Nyola, the 2025 Eldoret champion, opened the game with 1 e4, and we see c5 from Mwase Mathew, c3, the Sicilian Alapin variation, intending to go ahead and play d4, knight f6, hitting on the pawn which is on e4, pawn e5, knight d5, d4, c takes d4, knight f3, and in case of pawn takes c3, then queen takes d5. That's why after knight f3, he played e6, pawn takes d4, d6, after bishop c4, bishop e7, short castling, we see queen e2, b6 to support the knight on d5, rook d1, bishop b7, and after bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, knight c3, we see bishop takes f3, and after queen takes f3, we see d5, queen g4, now trying to open a way of bringing in the rook to support on the attacking chances of Nyola, f5, hitting on the queen, queen g3 should have been considered, just maintaining the tension towards the king side, but he played pawn takes f6, rook takes f6, and we see rook e1, putting an eye on the pawn which is on e6, queen d6, supporting the pawn on e6, bishop g5, rook g6, we see bishop takes e7, queen takes e7, 3, now knight takes d5 is a pure threat, queen d6, knight b5, hitting on the queen, after queen d7, he played rook c1, gambiting the knight. Mathew played knight c6. But however, in case of queen takes b5, this is winning for Nyola. Nyola would play rook c8 check, after king f7, queen takes h7, and now queen g8 is a very serious threat. The rook has pinned down the two pieces, and there's no clear way on how black can follow up and save themselves. Let's go back. So after rook c1, he played knight c6, and we see queen f3, rook f8, we see rook c3, knight comes to f5, intending to put the knight on c4 and also attacking the knight which is on b5, queen d4, defending the knight, knight c4. In this position, Nyola played b3, but however, rook g3 should have been considered, followed by rook comes to f6 and rook e2, defending the f2 pawn. But however, after knight c4, he played b3. Mathew played a5, hitting on the queen, and the queen has to still keep into contact with the knight which is on b5 to defend it. Now we see queen comes to f4, and now Mathew played knight d2, moving away from the attack and also threatening all the nasty checks, hitting on the rook, because now remember, the rook has pinned down the pawn, it can't take the knight which is on going by f3. Rook e2 should have been considered, but he played rook e3, and now Mathew played queen f7, hitting on the pawn which is on f2, and remember, you can't put the rook on f3 because of the knight which is on b2, f3 from Nyola, queen f5, threatening all the nasty checks, and also queen h3, and now Nyola played queen a3. In case of any queen checks, then the queen can support the check with the rook. That's why in this position he played queen h3, another strong move because the rook is pinning down the pawn which is on g2. As the rook comes to e2, Mathew played knight takes f3 check. The rook has pinned down the king and the knight is checking the king, so the only best move in the position is trying to play king f1. In case of king f1, we could have seen knight takes h2 check, king e1, queen f5, intending to come and check the king, queen d4 check, king c2, queen f1, rook d2, rook takes g2, rook takes g2, queen takes g2, and at least it is also another powerful but still fighting position for Nyola. But however, after knight f3, he played rook takes f3, and in this position, after queen takes f3, Nyola Wasamak resigned the game because there are so many threats in the position. The simple queen coming to f1 checkmate is also there. The queen is also putting an eye on the pawn, which is on g2. The queen is attacking the rook on e2. So many threats in the position, and it was in this position, after move 31, that Nyola Wasamak, the reigning 2025 LWL champion, Nyola Mak, resigned the game. Thank you all so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck in your games.